Well, what do you know? It looks like I may have finally caught a break. I picked up this sweet 2020 KLX110R for a ridiculously good price, and basically all it needs is a little bit of cosmetic work and basic maintenance. And I also found myself a can of brake parts cleaner, if you can believe that. And as you can see, I've got all my arms and legs, so I got a pretty good deal on this can as well. I will covet it. So the deal with this bike is, I guess his son outgrew it and he's looking into getting a four-wheeler. So I'm not sure 100% that he knew the value of the bike. I'm sure his phone was blowing up, but I'm the guy who got there first, so I got lucky. It does run. I'm sure they're using some ethanol fuel in it, and I guess the kid didn't ride it all that much. So it starts, but it doesn't want to run without the choke on. So I'm sure we're gonna have to clean the carburetor. I doubt the air filter's ever been serviced. They did say they changed the oil, but we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna look at the brakes, adjust it, and lubricate the chain. And obviously the rear fender is broken, but they have a brand new rear fender that they gave to me. Also, the right side gas tank shroud is cracked and broken, so I'll probably just get a set of aftermarket for those. I'm going to see if I can get these stickers off and swap them over. These things are expensive. I mean, Kawasaki's real proud of them. So I guess first things first, let me see if I can get the thing to run. I know the battery's dead, so the electric start doesn't work, but it's a 4LBS battery, super cheap. But it does have kickstart, fortunately. Little bike. I don't hear any knocks or bangs or anything like that. It's actually pretty good, pretty quiet. So let's go ahead and get this checked out, see what we need to order. Tropical Smoothie Cafe. If you got one near you, try the Mocha Madness. Fire. So first things first, the shifter is bent in a little bit, so let's go ahead and rebuild that. As is the rear brake lever. Let's get the wheels off, take a look at these brakes. They've definitely been adjusted. Well, at least they're not metal to metal, but they're definitely going to get changed. Steering stem bearings are a little bit draggy, so I'm going to pull this apart and take a look at it. I'll take this off since I got to do the brakes anyway. You take this top clamp off. Just be sure to hold the fork. Sometimes they'll slide out. We don't want them to hit the floor. They're so cute and tiny. Very, very tight. These have little individual bearings that we're gonna go ahead and lose all of. But it looks like somebody was in here and greased this up potentially. Strange, it looks like somebody's been in here and greased all this stuff up. Maybe they just over tightened it and that's why it was binding, but all this looks good. I'll hit it with some grease and put it back together. All right, let's get this seat, side covers, and fuel tank off so we can get to the carburetor and check our air filter. Smells like stale old fuel. That's pretty caked. The inside of the airbox is filthy. Next we'll go ahead and get our carburetor off. Get that cleaned up. The entire choke assembly is loose. Does this thing come off? It seems like unbolting the entire choke cable and taking it out with the carburetor is probably preferable, as it's a little bit of a pain on the carburetor to take this apart. Next we'll get our rear wheel off and get a look at the rear brakes. You tap on this, obviously be careful about not peening the threads over. If it's tight, like rusted into the bearings, you'd have to obviously use a little bit more care. This support bar bolt will not come loose for whatever reason, but it's going to be easier for me to work on it on the bench, so I'll take it apart at the frame instead. Back brakes look like they're in actually really pretty good condition. I think they're fairly inexpensive. We'll probably just replace them anyway. But we do have to figure out why this bolt won't come apart. And we'll probably just order a new one since we're placing an order anyway. And we'll go ahead and get this rear fender replaced. This does have a metal bracket that holds all this stuff riveted on. I don't remember seeing that on the other fender, so we may have to drill this out and rivet it in. I mean, there's a lot of bolts that hold this rear fender on. Wow, I don't want this thing coming out of here, that's for sure. While I'm in here, I'm also going to go ahead and replace the sprocket and chain. the carb's fairly clean. Just blow through all our jetting and blow through all the passages of the carburetor. Now there's an adjustment down here if you need to take up any of the slack rather than doing all your adjustment up by your lever. Different size fender bolts. The longer ones go towards the front because they're actually going to support the bottom of your number plate. First adjustment on this should be just a little ways out, 1/4 of an inch. We'll take the rest of the adjustment down at the bottom. This way, when you're on the trail and you need to make an adjustment, you have some to adjust. Tightening this top nut pulls the cable up through here, pulling on this arm. We want to tighten this up till it just starts to drag. You can hear it just starting to drag. And then we'll tighten our lock nut up. Alright, when somebody took this apart for whatever reason, they put a washer on the back side of this instead of the nut sliding into this for whatever reason. I'm still waiting on the nut for this thing, so I have just something temporary in there to hold it. So I'm going to reuse the original OEM shoes. They're in really good shape. I just cleaned everything up real good. New front plastics. These are by Acervis. Well, next I'm going to see if I can transfer these stickers over. Use a little bit of watery soap. Looks like they're just going to stretch and melt for the most part. Now while I got the weight on the rear suspension, I'll go ahead and adjust the chain to the proper tension using the marks supplied on the swing arm. The skid plate's got to come off to get to the oil filter. Now, if you can, warm this engine up before you do the oil change. It makes it a lot easier to drain the oil. I have not run it yet, and I don't know what the condition of the oil is, so I just want to go ahead and change it out while I'm here before I start it up. Now there's a spring in here, don't want to lose that. Cleaned it all up real good, don't forget about your spring. She calls for 1.1 US quarts with a filter change. Since I'm not going to measure it out, I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on this sight glass to see when it's full. Once we start it and run it, we'll recheck it. I drained the tank of whatever sewage was in there. Non-ethanol. Okay, let's see if she's any better. Guess we ought to see if this thing goes through gears. It's pretty good, all 4 gears. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and recheck the oil, top that off, and we'll take it up and get her washed up. Well, there she is. Runs good, starts easy. Everything works beautifully. Nice little bike. Thank you guys for watching. As always, appreciate all the comments, and hit that thumbs up if you like this video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Another fun little project, and we'll see you on the next one.